you won't be taken into account for a bad thought, only the good ones. The Prophet ﷺ said in a very interesting hadith, he said, tajawaz, in a riwayah, it's in al-Bukhari, it's in all 6 of the collection, so it's a really important hadith, obviously. But he said, tajawaz li an ummati, and in the riwayah, tajawaz li ummati. Like Allah has tajawaz, he's excused for my ummah, ma haddathat bihi anfusuhum, what their souls speak to them. So the internal dialogue. This is a rahmah from Allah, because the previous communities were actually taken into account for their thoughts. So because of the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ, this ummah is not taken into account for their thoughts. And that's why, if you look, and that's a strong opinion. And so one of the, not that they're not taken into account, that the previous ummahs were taken into account. And there's indication from Christianity, because Jesus said, if you have anger in your heart, it's like you murdered somebody. And he said, merely to look upon a woman is the same as committing adultery. And this is the teaching of Isa alayhi salam. So it's very different from the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ, in that the Prophet said, غُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ. The Quran says, غُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ, lower your eyes. But the Prophet said, الْأُولَى لَكَ وَالثَّانِيَ عَلَيْكَ. The first is for you, the second is against you. That we're told to guard these gifts that we've been given, the 7 limbs. So the waswasa is the whispering. And shaitan yuwaswisu, it's his real power. If shaitan has any power at all, it's his ability to suggest. One of the things that Dr. Cleary told me once, which was really interesting, he said that the problem with America is it's not just a culture with a lot of vice, it's a suggestive culture. Like, it actually encourages vice, as opposed to previous cultures where they really saw it as a very negative thing to encourage people to indulge in their appetites, obey your thirst. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, you know. So it's a suggestive culture. There was a company for people to commit adultery, and their tagline was, life is short, have an affair, which is crazy. And somebody actually broke into that website, and then it was a big scandal, because all the people that were on the website ended up getting there. Allah yaftahuhum, you know. So that's very interesting, that Allah does not take to account the hadithun nafs, this inner, and some of the Sahaba, they came, جاء ناس من أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقالوا إن نجد في أنفسنا ما يتعاظم أحدنا أن يتكلم به. We find in ourselves things that occur that we're horrified of the idea of actually saying them out loud. And the Prophet said, وَتَجِدُونَ ذَلِكَ? Do you find that? And they said, نعم. He said, صَرِيحُ الْإِيمَانِ. That's pure faith. It's a beautiful statement. That's pure faith. In other words, whatever foul thoughts come to you and you reject them, that is faith. Because foul people, they don't. They actually act on them. Whereas the believer finds that. And that's why one of the things that Dr. Cleary used to talk about, and I think he framed it really well, he used to talk about the guest and the host. So he said, don't mistake the guest for the host. He said, negative thoughts are uninvited guests. They take over the house. But don't think that they're you. You're the host, and they're like a dayfan, like a tufayli that's come in, and they're just bothering you. And that's why Sidi Ahmad Zarruq said, وَمَا يُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ شَيْطَانُ وَالْقَلْبُ الْيَأْبَأُ هُوَ الْإِيمَانُ. What shaitan whispers and the heart rejects, that is faith. فَلَا تُحَاجِجْ عِنْدَهُ اللَّعِينَ فَإِنَّهُ يَزِيدُهُ تَمْكِينًا. So don't fight with those thoughts. Don't feel disgusted with yourself. Don't give them any reality. Just let them go. Just let them go. One of the miracles that many people have experienced, including myself, from this surah is that it will help you with wasawis. There's no hadith that indicates that, but I think it's because this ayah is in there. But many people have said it's mujarrab, that they do that. And there are many things like that in the Quran, that they're just mujarrab. And they will say, many of our scholars will just say, وَقَدْ جُرِّبَ. It's been tried and tested. Like you have falsifiability in science, you want to falsify something, you just test it and you do it. So another one obviously is قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ وَقُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ الْمُعَوِّذَتَيْن. Ahmed Zarruq recommends, if you have a lot of waswasa in your prayer, to say that before you enter into your prayer, right before you pray. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ. So there's two that do the whispering, right? And one of the dangers of allowing your ears, people to have open access to your ears, is that you can get thoughts that come in that you heard that you can't get rid of. And they will bother you from watching things that you shouldn't have watched or listening to things you shouldn't have listened to. They're called earworms. And that's literally the term that's used for them. Things that you can't get out of your head. And one of the Salaf, he said, I heard one of the people of bid'ah say something that's still bothering me after 20 years. He said it was still bothering me. So this is very important of not to. And then also the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna li shaytani la lammatan li ibni Adam, right? Shaitan has a lamma, right? So this is like an affliction. Shaitan has a type of, he can have an effect on you. So there's a lamma, it's an effect. And he said, walil malaki lammatun. And the angel has a lamma also. And he said, أما لمة الشيطان فهو إعاد بالشر والتكذيب بالحق. It's to promise evil and to deny the truth. Threaten you with evil and to deny the truth. That's the lamma of shaitan. And then he said the lammat al-malak is إعاد بالخير وتصديق بالحق. He will promise you good and he will verify the truth for you. So the Prophet said, فَمَنْ وَجَدْ if he finds the lammat al-malak فَلْيَحْمَدِ اللَّهِ, right? Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he says, but if you find the other one from shaitan, فَلْيَتَعَوَّذْ مِنْهُ, like seek refuge from it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. So that's the lemma. Imam al-Muhasibi, who really developed what's called ilm al-khawatir, he actually put the khawatir into 4 categories: Rabbani, Malakani, Shaitani, and Nafsani. So the Rabbani are very strong. They end up compelling you really to do good. The Malakani are suggestions of good. That's the lemma. It just suggests the good. And then the Shaitani is, it'll come with one. If it doesn't work, it'll come with another. So it shifts strategies. Whereas the Nafsani is more compulsive. Right? The one that's telling you to eat the extra dessert after you already ate dessert. That's like the Nafsani. This is basically saying that Allah is with us. He's with you wherever you go. Ma'iyat al-ilm. His knowledge is with us wherever we are. Allah is with us. Habl al-Warid, there's different views on it. The majority definitely say it's the jugular vein. That's the majority. Some say it's the watin, which is the aorta. Some say, I mean, the